right, preparing live stream meeting to YouTube. So I'll probably be on the screen first, but then I'm gonna make sure everyone gets on there.
Okay.
All right, so it's coming over now. Okay, so here we go. So got it. All right, so I remember it was something I had to do over here. So I am here. Okay, spotlight everyone. Let's see here. Add spotlight. Okay, so I think I have everybody. Let me make sure. So it's a delay on the YouTube side, but once I see Tasha pop up, we'll go in.
Okay.
I'll spotlight everybody. Now I gotta spotlight myself. All right. All right. So then I just need to pop up and then we'll. All right. So we're all here. Okay. So I. Okay. So welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Pretty
Hi.
in Peace, Not in Pieces. I'm echoing. Hold on. All right. Can you guys hear me over here?
Yes.
Okay. So I had to so it's running on the YouTube side, but it was echoing. So I was like, let me just come over here on the Zoom side of things. So welcome everyone. Pretty in Peace, Not in Pieces, a healing experience with Tahita and
Tarsha.
And
welcome,
Jessica.
welcome, welcome. Yes, and the lovely Jessica. So this is episode 21 of Pretty in Peace, Not in Pieces. I cannot believe that we're already on episode 21. 21 is a very significant number for me. 21 was my son's transition date. The day after his 21st birthday is when my son
Wow.
passed away. So 21, I mean, in more than one way. I actually got pregnant with my son at the age of 21 and unfortunately lost him at the age of 21.
My God.
So, yeah, it's a very significant number for me. So, this is Pretty in Peace, Not in Pieces, a healing experience. Tahita and Tasha, we started this thing the beginning of the year and we're already on episode 21. Today, we do have a very strong guest that I just met a couple minutes ago, and I can just tell already she just has a beautiful testimony and a beautiful spirit. So
Thank
I am
you.
going to pass the floor over to my lovely co-host that does such a wonderful job with our scheduling and introduction. So the floor is all yours, Tasha.
Thank you so much, Tahita. So I want to bring up and introduce Miss Jessica Rolat. Jessica is she and I we met. We went to the same church for many of years. And one thing, like my pastor, Jessica, no, pastor taught us, you come in, you get the word, and you get on out of there.
Get on
And that's
out.
one thing. That's
Yeah.
one thing that
Yeah.
I observed about Jessica. Very God-fearing woman, love the
Yes,
Lord, love the Lord, and
yes.
but mind her business in the church and out, and always greet you with a beautiful smile or a hug. So when Jessica's going to get up, and she's going to come on and tell her story, her testimony in reference to losing her prince and I remember I was there at the funeral, and my heart was wrenching. I didn't understand it. I was looking at her just like, falling to pieces. And I didn't know that I was going to have to come to that same door.
Right, Lord.
My life, some
Yeah.
years later. But I felt for her. I felt for her that day. And she and we spoke briefly earlier, and she just kept saying how nervous she was. This and the third. I said, I know, I'm listening to her, and I'm saying, okay, but she's strong. She's very strong, but she's strong in the Lord. So, I mean, she has an awesome testimony. And Jessica, we're going to open up the floor just so you can just let everybody know your experience and what happened to you and what happened to your son, what you've been doing since then.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jessica Rolette. I'm the mother of Lakeisha Rolette and Damien Rolette. Damien was 22 years old when he was taken from us. He was murdered August the 21st, 2016. He was shot at approximately 1:30 a.m. that morning, going into the 21st of August. And I remember that whole week, and Tasha, my Aunt Pat, she, that entire week leading up to the 21st, she called me every day at work, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. She called me, she said, Hester, what you doing? I'd say, Aunt Pat, I'm at work. She said, are you and the kids okay? And I was like, yeah. She was like, when last time you talked to him? I said, I just talked to him. Damien called me every day at work at 11:30, clockwork, every day. To say he was coming downtown to have lunch with me, or, just checking to see how my day was going. And then probably 15, 20 minutes after that, my daughter would call. That was routine.
Yes.
And so leading all the way up to that Thursday was prayer. We would always have prayer at Evangelist Rick's house.
Yes.
Remember that? Thursday night, I didn't make it. I worked late. But Lacey, Lacey was praying at the time, and she said God kept putting me on her heart. And she said she couldn't turn it loose. She just kept asking God to give me strength. Give me strength, to give me strength. Oh, God, I can feel it. She just kept saying, God, give her strength. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. She said, but God, give Jessica strength. Give her strength. So she called me later, and I never told anybody this. And I never told, I never even told my daughter this, but back in, I want to say about 2008, 2009, I would wake up, and I'm a firm believer that when things are getting ready to transition in your life, God will show you specks. Of things. God will show you specks. Well, I started having dreams about me having to bury my son in 2008, 2009. But I saw it, but I kept turning it off. I saw it, and I kept turning it off. And when he got into high school, the picture came clear. Like, I could see me planning, and I could see it being at First National. I could see, but I kept turning it off because that's just not what I wanted to believe. I couldn't believe that God would bless me with this bundle of joy only to allow something like this to happen. But I had to go back and to reflect that, he's blessed us with him. He's only given them to us for a certain amount of time. Right. And when it's time for them to go, then he's going to come get them. We don't know how they're going to go, but we know that when he calls them, that's it, right?
That's it. Yeah.
So,
wow.
2000, I want to say 2015, about 2014, 2015, he sat next to me one day, and we were at my place, and he sat next to me, and it was normal for him to sit next to me. He would come get in the bed with me. We watch sci-fi TV, all of that. And he just lay in the bed with me and never say anything. But this particular weekend, he sat next to me and he grabbed my hand and he looked at me and he said, "Ma." It's the way that he said, "Ma." I said, "Yes." And I turned and I looked at him like that. And I said, "You want something. I know you do. You want something. You want some new sneakers? What is it? You want something, Damien?" And he started smiling. He said, "No." He said, "I love you." He said, "I appreciate you." He said, "I know I don't say it all the time." He said, "But I love you." He said, "I don't know." He said, "My friends tell me all the time, man, you lucky. Your mom is always there. You know, she's a rider. You know, she's got you hands down. She's got you 100 grand. And it's the way that he said, "I love you." And the way he held my hand. So 2016, that May, I'm living my life. I'm traveling, you know, doing everything that I want to do. I left and I went to Aruba, 10 days, 9 nights. Having the time of my life, went to the jazz festival, having a great old time, not knowing that when I touched back down at JFK, only to get back home here in the DMV, that all hell was about to break loose. I couldn't, if Warren Buffett himself sat me on the couch and said, "Miss Rolette, here's $7 million, I wouldn't have believed it. I'm telling you, I wouldn't have believed it.
Yeah.
My entire life, not only my life, but the entire Rolette family life changed in 2016. In June of 2016, my cousin Wayne was murdered in Forestville. Mind you, you never hear the name Rolette in the news for nothing. You don't. That happened to him. July came, we buried him. August came, Damien was gone.
My God.
Now, you talking about back-to-back double whammy. All I could sit back and say, okay, what's really going on, God? Like I was stunned for a minute because when the phone rang and my daughter called, immediately she said, "Ma," and it's the way she said, "Ma," because the routine is if you go out, when you get to your destination, you either text or you call and you say, "We made it safely," you know, and when you leave that destination and you hop into another party, "We made it." You know, that's the routine.
Checkpoints, right.
When she called me,
wow,
and she said, "Ma," and for my house phone to ring at 2:00 in the morning, I know it's something.
It ain't nothing good, right?
So when I answered the phone and she said, "Ma, get to Southern Maryland Hospital," she said, "Damien's been shot." I said, "What you talking about?" She said, "Mommy, Damien's been shot. Get to Southern Maryland." I picked up the phone. I called my Aunt Pat, woke her up, and I said, "Aunt Pat, start praying." My Uncle Lonnie got on the phone. I said, "Start praying." I said, "Damien's been shot. I'm on my way to Southern Maryland." My right hand to God. When I got to that light where that 7-Eleven is, making that left turn in the Southern Maryland Hospital, clear as day in the top of my car, I heard a voice say, "He's gone." I looked up in the top of my car and I said, "You a lie." And I stood on that. I said, "You a lie." And when I turned that corner, before I got into the parking lot of the hospital, I could hear the kids screaming and crying. And I could see the lights, the police. I could see the lights. I could see the ambulance lights going on. You know, everything, it was busy. So as I'm pulling in, I'm still in my pajamas. I got my purse in my hand, you know, and I left it in the car, locked the car, got out, and my daughter is sitting at the edge of the sidewalk. I look up the sidewalk. They've got 5 young men in handcuffs sitting on the curb. My sister and my brother-in-law are walking down the sidewalk, and they stop, the lead detective, and they point to me. So I know then that they're getting ready to come to me. Mm-hmm. And I look down at my daughter, and she's sitting Indian style. And I said, Keisha, I said, have you heard anything about Damien? I said, tell me, you know, what's going on. And I turned and I looked, and there was the emergency room. And I turned and I pivoted, and I was getting ready to go, and I felt somebody grab my arm. And she said, Mommy, she said, they took my heart from me. I said, what are you talking about? She said, Mommy, and she's rocking. She said, Mommy, they took my heart from me. I pivoted and I walked up and I said, T, talking to my stepsister. And the detective is standing behind them, and my brother-in-law and her standing there. And she said, I said, T, what's going on? I said, has anybody heard anything about Damien? When she reached her arms out to me, I took off running.
Yeah.
And when they got me, I was on the other side of the ambulance, laying in the grass, rolling, screaming, because I knew then that voice in the car that I heard was correct. But I was determined because I knew the power of prayer.
Yes.
I said, if I could get in there to him,
yes,
still working on him, if I could get over his head and start praying,
yes,
then maybe God would give him a second chance.
He can hear his mother's voice.
And that's just how much I believe that I could have done it.
Yes. Yes.
So when I got in there, I got maybe from here to the edge of this wall here in my bedroom in my office. And they stopped me, but I could see the blood on the floor. So I kept trying to go, and they had pulled the curtain, and one of the detectives came, and she said, you don't want to see him like that. So by this time, her badge, her gun doesn't mean anything to me. I'm saying to her, you can't tell me what I can handle and what I can't handle.
That's right.
I just want to lean over him, and I just want to pray over him.
Right.
I don't know what the outcome is going to be, but that's what I want to do. But she kept telling me that I couldn't go. And the more she told me that, it made me madder. So the doctor came out, and when he came out, I knew it was final. And he took me to a back room, and he sat me down, and I was shaking. Like two people had to hold me. That's how bad I was shaking.
Right.
And I couldn't find my cell phone, so somebody gave me a cell phone for me to call my aunt. And when I called her, she said, I can hear it in your voice. She said, you don't have to say it. But I had to say it because I couldn't believe it myself, that my baby was gone, you know?
Right.
Like, I just couldn't fathom it.
Like, I couldn't mistake. Let me see to make sure that that's my child, because that must be somebody else's.
You know? So to like stamp the to make it confirmed, they brought his driver's license, and it had blood on it.
Jesus.
I still carry his driver's license in my wallet to this day.
I do too. I still got my baby's his college ID and his driver's license in my wallet. I just held it. And the doctor told me, he said, when they brought him in, he was very much alive, but he had lost so much blood. He was shot through his left side, and it went through him. Now, anybody that knew Damien Soaking Wet was probably $185. He was tall, he was slender. And the bullet, pierced his heart. So of course, that's your machine, that's your battery.
Yes.
And if they don't get to it in time, it's really nothing that they can do. So the doctor told me, he said, I want you to know he fought. He said, and he was trying to talk the whole time. He said there for a minute, he was trying to sit up on the table. Wow. And he said he just kept mouthing. I said he was trying to tell y'all to call me or his sister. That's what he was trying to do. And he said, I believe that. And he said, I want you to know that we lost him once and we brought him back. And he said, well, that second time when he came back, he stretched his hands. And I knew then that the rest of the talking was between him and God.
That's right. That's right.
And I knew that he was okay. Now, there's not a selfish bone in my body. The mere fact that he settled down enough to hear what God had to say.
Come on.
For him to stretch his hands up to say, okay.
Powerful.
I'm okay. Now, the human side of me.
Right.
22 years. He was only 22. He was just getting started. Now,
right.
I'm not going to sit here and say he was an angel. I'm not going to say he did everything right, dotted every I and crossed every T, but he didn't. But one thing he did was love his mother, and he loved his family.
That's right.
He was very respectful. He only got out of hand if you did something to me or to his sister, then you saw another side of him. And if you did something to his grandfather, you saw another side of him. You know, but he never stepped off that curve, you know, just to be stepping off the curve. Now, when I sat back and I thought about it, and I watched them wheel him into the ambulance to take him to the coroner's office out here in Baltimore. And when I saw the tag on his toe,
wow.
I just put my head down, because at this time I'm by myself. I don't have anybody with me, right? So I literally did my pajama top like this, and I put my shoulders back and held my head up high, and I walked in the hospital and I asked, where was the chapel? And I went in the chapel and I sat down and I went numb just like that. And I knew then that I had to hold it together for my daughter, because they were like this. And I sat there. I wanted to cry, but I couldn't.
Right.
I couldn't. I can't explain it, but there was something that hit me in my back that made me sit up, and I sat up. And from that moment on, once I got back to my sister's house in Upper Marlboro, and I sat down and they kept saying, Jessica, you got to rest. Jessica, you got to sit still. I said, I can't. I said, now it's time to go to work. I said, I've got some things that I got to do. I've got to prepare. I said, I can't. I slept maybe an hour and 30 minutes and I jumped right back up and went outside to start my car. My car wouldn't start. And I said, okay, I probably need a battery. So my baby cousin, my Aunt Pat's daughter, Nikki, my girlfriend, Tiffany, we all rode up to AutoZone or somewhere and got me a battery. I got in a car. They said, Jessica, what are you getting ready to do? I said, I'm going home and I'm getting ready to prepare to bury Damien. And they said, when are you trying to do this? Mind you, anybody who knows me, once my mind is made up about something, it's done. It's going to happen. The only way it's going to happen is if somebody steps in and say, Jessica, wait a minute, look at it this way, or let's,
Yes.
I said that was the 21st, Tasha. That was a Saturday going into this Sunday. I said I wanted it done that next week. It was done. That Monday on the 29th, Bishop said, Jessica, prepare, make sure you have everything. Everything fell in place just like I wanted it. When I got home that Monday, that Tuesday, I was sitting in my living room floor writing his obituary. Somebody said, Jessica, no, your cousin Cindy can do that. Let her do that. So I passed it on to her. She did it. Awesome job. Then everybody from my job, everywhere, everybody just said, Jessica, what funeral home is it? Flowers started coming in like I didn't have to think. Everything just started trickling down. And I was grateful and very thankful for that, because it gave me time to kind of think of what else I was going to have to do when this was all said and done.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, Bishop came to the house, not my house, because I lived in Howard County at the time. Bishop came to my sister's house in Upper Marlboro, and he pulled me to the side. He said, "Sweetheart, it's loud now." He said, "It's real loud now." And he put his hands on my shoulder. He said, "It's loud." He said, "When it's all said and done," he said, "you gonna know who's in your corner." He said, "you gonna know who's got your back." He said, "you are going to see just exactly who loves you and who's there." Let me tell you something. And then he sealed it. And Tasha, you know Bishop.
Yes.
He said, "I want you to know that earth has no sorrow, that heaven cannot heal." He said, "But baby girl, I want you to know it's loud now." He said, "But when it gets quiet,"
yes,
he said, "it's going to get quiet." He said, "It's going to get a deathly quiet." And he said, "It's going to scare you." Whew. Let me tell you something. If I ain't never wanted anybody to be wrong, I wanted him to be wrong about that. I sit back sometime and I think about it, because like I was telling you earlier, Talia, I can count the people on one hand that was there and who made sure on a consistent basis to check on me.
Yes.
To, you know, did you eat today? Is there anything you need? You know, I want to stop by, you know, anything like that. Like I can count on one hand. I don't know what it is about death that make people disappear. I don't know what it is about death that make people act stupid, ignorant. I don't know what it
reveals
is.
The heart. It reveals the heart of people.
It reveals the heart, exactly. It makes it breaks up families. It destroys friendships. It does a multitude of things.
Yes.
But I will say that if there was any time that I would have walked away from God, if I didn't know him like I know him, it would have been then. Simply because my question is, or was at the time, how could you give me something so precious and let me build all these memories, all the laughter and joy, the hell raising, the ass whoopings, all of that, only to take him away at a ripe young age when he's just getting ready to take off running? And I mean take off running. You saw the people at the funeral. It was standing room only. It was still 300 people outside the church trying to get in to see him.
Yes, it was.
Before we could even really start the service. The balcony was full. The sanctuary was full. It was people standing up in the back of the church. She's my witness. And I couldn't for the life of me. At 22, he had 30, 40-year-old men standing up in the pulpit crying, talking about him, how he touched their lives. I said, you know what? There's nobody but God.
That's it. Nobody
but God, because I raised both of them in church. Now, we all know when you get grown, you come out of church, you backslide, you know, you do your thing. But like, you know, they always say, you come back home one or two ways. You come in standing on your feet, or you coming in feet first. However you choose to do it, that's how it's going to be, right? So I remember months before this even happened, he had started going back to church. I didn't have to say anything. I didn't have to say, Damien, come on and go to church with me. He just started going on his own. And that made me happier than anything, because he knew the word.
That's right.
He knew it.
Right.
He knew he could pray better than me.
Wow.
He knew it.
Thank you, Lord.
And the day before he was killed, we were on FaceTime. Me, my daughter and him on FaceTime. And he had this worried look on his face. Again, I believe that when things are getting ready to happen in your life, I believe God shows you things,
Mhm.
you know, transitions
Prepare.
of how things are preparing you, how things are going to happen.
Mhm.
And my daughter had the iPad in her hand, and she kept saying, she said, Mommy, she said, look at his face. He looks worried. And I said, yeah. So she got up and went into the kitchen. I said, Damien, look at me. I said, what's wrong? He said, nothing. I said, I'm looking at you. Is something wrong? You look worried. You know, you okay? I'll come get you. What is it? If you want to come to me, I'll come get you. It's nothing. I'll come get you. And he said to me, and he looked and he had tears in his eyes. And he said, he put his head down and he said, Mom, he said, I'm going to be okay. It's the way he said it. Now, mind you, none of us knew this was going to happen.
Right.
And the way it would have happened. And I go back and I think 2016 on Time Magazine. Time Magazine said it themselves. It was the Grim Reaper's year because so many people died that year. It was left back to back to back to back to back. Time Magazine literally put out a magazine with a Grim Reaper on it because so many people died that year. And that night that Damien was killed, I know across the DMV, I believe it was 7 to 9 young folks that was killed that night.
My God.
Between, I want to say, and I may be wrong, but I want to say between 11 and 3, between 12 and 2, that's when most of it happened. And I just, I couldn't believe it. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, people kept asking me, Jessica, what happened? How? And I'm still stunned. Like, I literally, I would sit on my
like a nightmare. It doesn't even seem real.
I remember after it was all said and done, he was buried. I was sitting at home one day and I was sitting in the corner of my couch by a table and everything, looking out the balcony door. And this rage came up in me. And I remember jumping up and I tore my place up from my living room to my bedroom. And for me to do something like that, I'm hurt. I mean, I'm crushed. Like, I'm devastated, you know, and no one's ever seen me in that capacity. One person has only seen me hurt like that. And he was there the entire time. And I'm forever grateful, forever grateful. I couldn't thank him enough because if he hadn't have been there when he was, I don't know that I would be here today. It wasn't what he said. It was how he handled me with care.
Yes.
It was how he let me know that no matter what, he had me. If I needed anything, he had me. Now, I'm expecting some of my girlfriends to call me and say the same thing.
Please.
Like I said, I can count on one hand.
You ain't by yourself, Jessica. You are not by yourself.
I can count on one hand. And I never really said anything about it. I let it go because Bishop said,
yes,
it's loud now, but it's going to get real still and quiet. And that's when it's going to scare you. And I've heard God call my name twice in my lifetime. Twice. November of 2000, Thanksgiving. I was living in District Heights at the time. And I remember laying in the bed and he called me by name and I sat up in the bed and I said yes. And there was a peace that came over my bedroom and I knew it was him. And I knew then that he had his hand on me, and I knew that I belonged to him. The next time, I had tore my apartment up. This is about the third time I had tore it up, put it together, tore it up, put it together again. And I was sitting in the middle of the floor. I was sitting in plant dirt, everything. I was sitting in dirt and I was crying. And I kept saying, why? And I turned and I looked on the floor, and his obituary was on the floor next to me. And I said, God, if you could tell me anything, I need to know why. Why now? And it got real still. You talking about scared? And I thought, oh God, what's about to happen? Because it was something that just hit me in my gut, like, and I said, okay. Now this is the first time I heard it. The second time I heard what I'm about to say, my therapist said to me, he said, why not you? Why not? I knew then because I was built for it.
He told me the same thing, Jessica.
And I was cut.
You know, this is so scary, because my dad used to always say, why not you? And my son used to always say, when things got hard, Mom, you was built for this. So this is God just talking.
My son had said the same thing. He said, why not you?
Yes.
So and then I go back to the word. He gives his battles to his strongest warriors.
That's right.
His strongest soldiers.
You told me you was a dreamer. Like I'm listening and I'm like, I'm a dreamer. I'm a seer.
Yes. I'm a seer too.
I had some strong, I feel like most people that have lost a kid, we're all prophetic.
And I told, yes. And I said,
frozen.
You know, like, I've had dreams to where I literally have seen me and other mothers, Trayvon Martin's mom, Michael, what's his name? Michael, young boy that got killed.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? I've seen his mother on this bridge. All of us are carrying crosses.
Wow.
And there's so many men and women on this bridge bearing these crosses for miles, the eyes to see. Parents carrying these crosses. Face is dry though. Every face on that bridge is dry. And I said, that's nothing but God. God is the only one that can hold you and carry you.
That's it.
Through something like this, to where you are still in your right mind and you're not sitting in shepherd crack in a jacket looking like Diana Ross out of mahogany in a padded room. Do you hear me?
Come on. Or dead.
Do you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
And I sat here, you know, and I think about it, and you know, because I hear people say all the time, Jessica, you're strong. You know, I hear people
of us, because they don't understand it's a supernatural. We can't even explain.
I can't explain it. And then, you know, like another girlfriend of mine, she said, Jessica, you are praying something. I said, it ain't me, it's just God. You know, I know. And when I go into prayer and I get to praying, and when something kick in, I know it ain't him, because we getting ready. Let's ride, because I'm getting ready to take us somewhere, and I'm getting ready to cover everything from here to Jablip, and we gonna go. By the time I come back around, everybody in their household is covered. You know, so I know what the power of prayer can do, and to this day, I know that if I could have just got over his head, and if he could have just heard my voice until he.
That's right.
You know, because once he's gone, it's just a shell.
Yeah.
You know? And he can only come back if God allow him to come back. But I knew when the doctor said he raised his hands up, that was it.
That was it.
That was it. And I can honestly say I thank God, because when it came time to, view him and everything, and everybody asked me, what did I want to do? I had somebody come in from Chicago to fix his face. Because, sometimes after you die, your nose is spread and your face, My son looked like he had just got off of work at FedEx and laid in the bed and said, Ma, let me know when the chicken is ready. He looked like he was asleep. He looked like himself. Fresh haircut, everything. Mr. Jordan flew in from Chicago, and he asked me, he said, how do you want him? I said, I want him to look like Damien. I said, I don't want him to look like anything else. Right. I said, I want him to look like Damien. I said, he has natural thick black waves in his hair. I said, I want his hair cut like that. Yes. I said, when you get through with him, I want his nose to be like it is on that picture. You asked for that picture. That's what I want him to look like. My right hand to God. When I put that suit on my son, and after he got through with him, he looked like we were getting ready to go to church, but he was asleep in the car.
Just as handsome as he ever was.
Yeah.
Just, and I couldn't thank him enough. I couldn't thank Mr. Jordan enough for what he did, because everything from his side, everything.
Yeah.
He looked immaculate. And I thought, yeah. He himself, I can hear him say, standing there, yeah, I look good. I know I look good.
Yeah.
I could hear him, but it made me feel good, because he literally looked like he was asleep. He didn't look like what he had just been through.
Yes.
The pain. He didn't look like it, but I said this on my page the other day on Facebook. I said, pain is what got me here, but pain is also what brought me through.
That's right.
That's right.
And
we build different to go through this. And it's so funny. Like, when people try to do little small stuff, I'm like, do you know what I lost? I sleep on coffee and smell over little stuff. Like,
you can't touch it.
At all.
Like I tell everybody, it's one thing when you've lost a parent. I lost my mother at the age of 19 to cancer. And I didn't step in a church for 3 years because I was mad at God, because I saw what God could do. I know he's a healer.
Right.
I've seen what he's done.
Right.
But the question was, why didn't you do it for me?
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I was mad for 3 years. I didn't open a Bible. I didn't go to church for about 3 years. But I still had sense enough. Every day I got up, I said, thank you. But I still didn't go to church. And then things got better. But this is 2023. My mother was born July the 6th of 1936. I'm born July the 7th. That's the hardest day.
I'm getting off this live. My birthday is July 7th. I'm getting off this live. Look,
Yeah.
the house is in the building. Say the divine connection. Come on, God.
So so it's hard. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Then to turn around and to lose my child. So when I say, I know I'm cut different, I'm built different.
100%.
I know I am.
Yeah.
Because what I've been through, most women and men couldn't go through.
That's right. Fact.
Now, I know that men grieve differently, men move differently when it comes to stuff like that. But still, in some of the deepest, the hardest situations,
come on.
To see a man cry, to feel a man cry, it breaks me down. I can't stand it. It does something to me, because I know if a man is shedding tears, he's hurt.
Oh,
he's hurt. He's hurt, and he's hurt deep. You know. So to see or to feel that, for you to even let me feel you cry, or for you to shed a tear with me,
Right.
I know that you care about me.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you feel what I feel.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and you have a heart of compassion, you're empathy. You know, you're
Yeah.
empathetic. You know, you not only are you a parent yourself, but you can't imagine what I'm going through. But the mere fact that you are standing here crying with me,
Right.
and you're holding me, saying I got you, but you know, I still can't understand what you're going through. But I'm gonna ride this wave with you.
That's
I'm
right.
gonna ride with you.
That's right.
Ride. But I got you. And that's why I said I can count on one hand. And I know there were a lot of people praying for me. No mistake. I know that there were. But it still would have been nice to hear you say, hey, I'm thinking about you. I just want to see if you were okay. You know, do you need anything? Is there anything I can do? You know.
Right.
And that's fine. And today, no ill feelings, no ill will whatsoever. Because I get it. When something like this happens, you just don't know what to say. You don't know what to do. You don't even know like if you call, like, are we just gonna sit on the phone in silence? You know, what is there to say? You know, it's something that when it comes to a child, I've seen losing a child ruin marriages. I've seen it break up friendships. I've seen people lose their jobs. I've seen people lose it all. And when it comes down to it, to the very bottom line, when I say that God has kept me, and when I say God has pulled me all the way through, it's nobody but God. My story will never be different. I will never have anything other to say than it was God. Because I'm trying to tell you, I could have made a U-turn and went away and never looked back.
That's right. That's right.
Easily.
That's right.
Easily. Because you've taken two people from me that were my work, that meant everything to me.
Yes.
Right? At 19, what do I know about taking care of her house at 19? I'm in school. I'm in college. I'm partying. Yeah, I go to church, but I'm living, you know, I'm doing it.
Doing what most 19-year-olds do, living your life.
I ain't thought about nothing about taking care of no house. I ain't thought about having to pay no lawn service, keep no yard cut. I ain't thought about none of that. I don't want to think about that.
That's right.
I want to come home at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and try to get myself together to go to class and then go to work. And then I want to sleep all day Friday.
That's right.
You know, Saturday, get up, maybe go to church on Sunday. You know that. No. Right. God said, no, I know what to do for you. And I've never been one. I went out, I partied, but I ain't never been one to really, really be out there in the streets like that. Never. Never. But when it came time to handle things, to take care of things, take care of people, I've always done it. Did I always get that back in return? No. And I didn't fully understand that I would never get what I give until I got older, in my 40s.
Yes.
And I'm 52 now. So I didn't get it until, you know, I got older. And I also learned that everybody's not going to love the way that I love. I love hard.
Yeah.
Right.
And everybody's not going to love me the way that I love. Right. And everybody's not going to appreciate it. And everybody's not going to appreciate it. And Absolutely. That's okay. And I've learned that's okay too. Yeah. It's not my loss. It's yours. It's not mine.
100%. And when you peep that what you're giving out, you're not getting in return, you just got to move accordingly.
Yeah. Right. Right.
God's showing you stop pouring out when you got someone that's taking, but they're not giving nothing back to you.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
God is good. You thank you so much for giving us your story and your testimony. Yes. And as I heard you talking about your sons, the time leading up, you know, what I have just with mobile moms and talking to other fathers that have gone through this journey, we all kind of like a similar story. And I truly believe that we're prophetic people, and
Oh,
there's
yes.
nobody but the God that gets us through some of the hardest times of our lives. So I guess fast forward to where you are now in your journey of healing. Like if you had to describe where you are in your journey at this point.
Now, I can honestly say that I've grieved. I'm still grieving. This August will be 7 years. It doesn't seem like it, but it will be. I started the young man that killed him. They caught him June the 15th of 2017. The next year, I started going to a therapist that year. I still go to her. She's the bomb.com. And I still have my moments. I still have my nights. I still have my days, but like I tell a lot of people, it may look like, I'm dancing and I'm grooving on the outside, but on the inside, I'm literally kicking in walls and caving in doors because I have days to where,
of course.
I don't want to hear nothing that you got to say. There ain't nothing that you can say to me. Let's go ahead and let's do this. Let's go ahead and knock this out.
Right.
Some days that's just how I feel, because I'm tired. I'm ready for the soft life, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the soft life. I'm ready to sit back and just kind of glide and enjoy some things, and somebody, take care of me instead of me taking care of everything and everybody. Right?
Yes.
That's where I am. I can honestly say I'm blessed. I'm blessed. God has been good to me in spite of any and everything that I've been through and that I've seen.
He's able.
Yes, he's very much able. And if it weren't for him, I don't know where I'd be, or I wouldn't be the woman that I am today.
That's right.
If it weren't for him, he gets all the honor and all the glory. Yes. Because like I said, I could have been sitting in that padded room looking like Diana Ross in mahogany.
Yeah.
Okay. Easily, and again,
and the outside world doesn't seem to comprehend, when you kind of touched on like how the people you expected to be there wasn't there. You can kind of count on. It is amazing to me that, people will know what you have lost. And in my case, I feel like it's all right if you didn't want to be there, but what you're not going to do is try to make my life more difficult. That's what.
I did have people say, well, oh, Jessica, you got to get over it, and I kind of shifted some furniture in a room and, and I went on and I ain't never talked to them folks again. I just kind of let stuff go, You mean get over what? When? How? Who you talking to?
Right.
So I'm never going to get over this.
We never understood that. And I don't even see how people even part their lips to tell a mother, a father that lost a child. Like you lost a pair of sneakers or a house.
Yeah, I'm not. And where I am in this stage of healing, I'm a lot better than what I was.
God is good.
This is a consistent process.
Every day.
It's something that will always be there. It gets easier with time. But it never goes away because you have that date, you have that year, you have that holiday, you have something always to trigger that memory. You see something in the mall, you see something driving, you see something
in a song,
anything it doesn't even matter if it's a woman or a man. Like I said, men deal with stuff differently, but it's something that triggers it in you. It's a process. Like you still have your moments. Like I know I can be driving sometime and he can hit me and tears just start rolling down my face. I don't say a word. I just keep driving. And I've gotten in my car and drive from here to Philly and come back around and come back and tears are just streaming down my face because the person or the people that I want to talk to, I can't.
Right.
You know, I can't get to you. You know, I can't sit and hold your hand or you hold my hand or you give me that wisdom that you've always given me or you know, it's just that friendship that I have. I just can't. It's gone. You know what I'm saying? So, I like I said, it's nobody but God. Nobody but God. And you can say what you want to say. You can feel how you want to feel. But what I have now, you could never take it from me.
Right.
You could never take it from me. You can never take it from me. Never. Because I'll tell anybody, you may have any and everything that you have, but you could never put your feet in my shoes and walk the road that I've walked.
That's right.
And still stand up with your shoulders back like I do and head held high.
That's right.
You could never do it.
In your right mind.
In your right mind. You can't hold a candle to me.
At all.
At all.
Yeah.
You know, you may have it all. But the peace that I have now.
Thank you.
And
now that's unexplainable too, because you know, I feel like when we go through what you go through, it forces you in a position to be, you gotta revamp your whole life.
Exactly.
Life, what you thought it was.
Exactly.
You have to look at every area of your life and make changes in every area of your life because you realize I'm fighting for my life here.
And you know,
and
you know what? And I own it. I own it. I know I can count about 2 or 3 people that I ran crazy and I almost pushed completely away because I was just hurt. Yeah. You know, and you know, when you hurt and you're cut, you can't bleed on the ones that hurt you, you know, that didn't hurt you. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you, in your frame of mind, you don't see that, you don't know that because of what you're dealing with. Right. Going through what you're going through, and you're leaning on this person or people thinking that, you know, they got you, but they're not equipped to handle you in this state. So right. You know, they just kind of teeter-totter back and then they kind of disappear. I got it. I own it. I pushed you away. But at that time, I was lost myself. I was hurt.
Give me some grace. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that grace, you know, the grace that I've extended, you know, give me some of that back, you know. And maybe they just didn't know how to. Maybe they didn't want to because they said, well, you know, this isn't the Jessica that I know. She's strong. She's always up. You know, she's the one who carries, you know, she gets us through. She has that word. She has, I didn't have it then. I needed it from.
And you know what? It is amazing when people don't realize, because we all seem to be the go-to people here, right?
But it's like that person. Yes.
Yeah, and it seemed like to me, like I had people that was like, oh, I was there with this, that, and the third. And I'm like, do you realize what I lost? Like, do you realize what I lost? Like I can relate to
never.
You know, I'm like, do you realize what I lost? It's like you want me to show up and be there for you. And it's almost like they gave you some bereavement time. I gave you 6 months. You ain't done it yet. I can't dump my toxic waste on you. I can't. And I'm like, my cup is empty. My cup is empty.
Yes.
I don't have nothing.
My cup was empty. I've never felt so weak. I've never felt helpless like I felt then. Like I couldn't explain it because I don't know if my pride was kicking in because, you know, I've always been the one to hold up everything and everybody. But at that time, like I was weak, like I was wounded, like I didn't know I didn't know how to say. I think I just wanted everybody to see, like, I need you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hit. Like I'm lost.
Yes.
I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it. I don't even know how to ask because I've always been the one to take care of everybody else. And I'm wounded. Like I need y'all to come and just, I need you, you know. And like I said, I can only count about 5, maybe 6 people. That's it. And those I'm forever grateful for.
Yes.
Forever.
But you know, I feel like God makes no mistakes. So when we see the ones that could not show up, and I thank God that He does give us eyes to see, like take a look around, because I even had to go back to where I'm like, I had people fly from all over for my son's funeral, but I had people locally that came through. Like my son was a piece of art in the museum and came through for the viewing and was out the door. And I'm like, oh, my son, you know, of course, this 6 months later, a year later, it's all coming back to me as I'm looking at, you know, the books of how people sign in and all. And I'm thinking like, my son wasn't even good enough for a 1 hour service where I had people flying from all over to be here, but the closest people to me, you know, so God will show you, and you know, he'll put in your heart, like, I had to show you. You thought they was somebody they wasn't.
Let me tell you something.
They thought they was a ride or die. I had to show you.
Yes, my father always said, now my father's 90, right? And my father's still very much in his right mind.
Oh, that's the blessing.
So truly. So he would always say to me, between 24, 27, I give him 28. He always say, Jessica, they ain't your friends. They want something from you. He said, but whatever it is, they can't have it because what you got, God gave it to you, and can't nobody get what you got.
That's right.
My father always said that. And I told my kids the same thing. I said, y'all's path is different. Those that you're running around with, hanging with, their destiny is different than yours. Mm-hmm. You can't see it now, but they're not your friends. They want something that you have.
That's right.
And if you continue to wallow in that, they're going to get you. But you've got to open your eyes and you've got to listen to know when you need to back up from that and go in another direction. Mm-hmm. My father always said that I was 27. I was 28. I stood up one day and I was out somewhere and I looked and I stepped back from everybody and I looked at everybody in that circle. Mm-hmm. And to this day, it's only 3 out of that circle that's still with me because they cut just like me. Ain't nobody else. Mm-hmm. And I know who I can call and who I can share certain things with, and I ain't got to worry about it. Like I can really say some things, and I ain't got to worry about it. And I know that whatever I say is safe. Mm-hmm. It's safe. And I know that when it comes time to prayer, I know that I can call her at 2:00 in the morning and say, wake up. It's time to pray. That's right. Or she can call me when I'm on my way at night to my part-time job. She said, you at work? I said, no. She said, let's pray. I said, let's ride. I'm driving. Go ahead.
That's right.
Let's do it. You know, or even through the day, 11:30 in the morning, like, you know, if I'm working from home or even if I'm at work, I'll close my office door. She'll say, I need to pray. Let's do it. That's right. You know, I got you.
That's a blessing.
If I'm, you know, I'm your girl. You need me to pray? I got you. I'm going to pray. Yes. It's people to this day that I'll probably never talk to again a day in my life, but I still pray them. If God put them on my heart, I call their name out.
Same. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Right.
And you know what I realized too is that it's not really, because my father was a wise man too. He raised me and my brother and used to tell me all the time, Tahiti, you got a good heart. You think people are like you, they're not. You know,
Right.
you think that people are who they are, but you'll see. And of course, you know, my father, because I had a double whammy in 2015. Both of my parents passed away 5 months apart. My father first, and then my mother 5 months later. So, you know, I'm no stranger to grief, and I feel like how you do. Like, I'm just like, you know, I don't like to do no comparison to people, but I'm just like, you know, like I said, mainly it's when people do little stuff that they think that they're getting at me, and I'm thinking like, if you knew, and some people know what you've been through, so I would think like you would see, oh, this person is structured differently. Like,
Right.
it's almost
Right.
like a steel wall. Like
Right.
what you're throwing a rock
Right.
at a steel wall. Like, it's
Right.
big. It's like
Right.
it's doing
And
absolutely nothing.
I tell
You know what I
people,
mean?
like,
It's just like it's pointless. Like,
there's nothing that you can say to me. It might sting.
Mm-hmm.
It might sting. But there's nothing that you can say to me that's gonna make my knees buckle.
That's right.
It's not, because I've been through some things. I've seen some things. I've had to endure some things that nobody will ever know about. You know, and those things have shaped and molded me into to the woman that I am today.
Yes.
You know, and I thank God for just, you know, getting me through it all. Like, you know, it's those crooked paths that he's made straight, and those, you know, those difficult days and nights when you have to get up and you have to continue to go to work. You crying on the way to work, but you fix your makeup before you get out the car, and you hope nobody can tell, look in your eyes and tell that you cried. You get on to work, you do what you're supposed to do, you got that mask on, you get in your car and you start all over again. Because I know when I finally went back to work in the new year of 2017, I drove to work for about 3 or 4 months. Every day that I was on 495 coming home, I had to pull over to the side because I was crying.
Yeah.
I couldn't, because every day at 11:30, I was looking for the phone to ring.
Yes.
Yeah.
I get to work and I'm looking for the phone to ring at 11:30. Like I would look at my phone and I'm like, oh, my baby's gonna call me at 11:30, and the phone never rang. And then I remember picking up the phone, and it's like I had this out of body experience.
Right.
I picked up the phone one day and I dialed his cell number, and another man answered the phone, and it was a Hispanic, and I lost it. And I knew then that if I ever heard his voice again, it would be on the videos that we had made at home, you know, goofing around, or that last video, that the last day that I saw him. That's the last time that I would ever hear his voice like that.
Right.
You know? So I think I finally deleted his number out of my phone in 2020.
I'm about to say I'm not there yet, and this is going October will be 4 years.
4 years. I deleted.
This number is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I deleted the number. I had to delete the number because I would call it. And whether it was that Hispanic man that answered the phone, or it'd be a woman, or it'd be somebody else, I would lose it. And I knew that I couldn't afford to lose it.
Right.
Every time like that. Like, for me, every day I tell myself, okay, Jessica, we're gonna take these next 5 steps, and this is how we're gonna do it. It ain't gonna be easy, but we're gonna get there, you know, because, and even like during the pandemic, like, it was just days, like I would think, like, what would he be doing?
Yes.
Like during the pandemic, you know.
I was thinking that too. I said, my son, he beat at his own drum. He wouldn't been wearing no mask. He'd have been like, oh,
exactly.
What with those masks going? Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, you know, I could hear me saying, You can't do this. You got to do this. If you go to work, you need to do this. Remember, don't be doing this. And if you're outside, you got to be doing this. And if you're going to work, you know, like this. And then, you know, and if I'm honest, the world that we live in today, do I want my baby here? Absolutely, hands down.
Yeah, but you look at the world, what it is. It's like
the world today.
Our sons were better than
my son. He's better off where he is than to be here today.
Yes.
Number one,
and we know where he is, and we know.
So, and then because of the crime and just the way the world, the society is today, like it's just he's better. He's in good hands. He's in real good hands.
Yeah.
You know, so and that right there gives me peace.
Yes.
You know, and another reason why I knew that he's with the Lord is because my son was covered in tattoos. His arms were covered in tattoos. He was a chocolate drop, but you could see the ink on it. When I went in before they put his shirt on him and everything, I looked at him. And it was as if God took his hand and washed him clean. You couldn't see ink on him nowhere. I said, that ain't nobody but God. Nobody but God. Because nobody can come through and wash your body like that. Now, they wash you before they put the clothes on. You know, they cut them up your back. But nobody can wash your body like that but God. And nobody can make sure that your skin is still baby soft like that but God. And you're in a shell, and that's a shell. There's nobody but God. So that gave me peace. That my battle began when I had to try to keep my daughter together. That's where my battle.
I'm going through that with my son now.
Battle.
It's so hard.
I tell you, last year. Was it last year? What's this? 23, 21, 22. I kept telling her, I said, I need you to really consider sitting down, talking to somebody. I said, because if you don't, I'm going to lose you too. Yeah. I could see it. I could see it clear as day. Now, mind you, I got a grandbaby. I love my grandbaby. Do I want to raise any more children? No. If I had to, I would. But I know that she's strong. I know where she comes from. Yeah. So I know that she can do it if she apply herself and if she does it. The day that she walked in the house and she told me, she said, Mommy, I made an appointment to sit down and talk with a therapist. She couldn't go to work fast enough and that baby couldn't go to bed fast enough. When I tell you that I got in my closet, literally, got in my closet and laid down on my face, and how I prayed and how I cried, girl, it was snot and tears everywhere. When I tell you that prayer, I knew it was nothing but God. And I knew that he answered it because I could see it clear as day. That's another phone call I didn't want to make. I didn't want to have to walk in my father's face and say, your first two grandbabies, they gone? No, I didn't want to do that because that one, I thought losing my son, I thought that was going to take my father out. But he held it together so good. I said, okay, if he's holding it together like this, I got to hold it together. You know, but like I said, nobody saw me come unglued. There's only a few people that saw me come unglued. And when I say I tore my place up, my God, I had to buy my entertainment center. I had to buy a whole new entertainment center there for a while because I couldn't put it together no more. I had flowers, dirt, look, shampoo and carpet, look. It was just so much. So my daughter, I told her, I said, I need you. Yes. It's just us. Damien wouldn't want us to be going through this like this. And I told her, I said, there's not a day that's not going to go by, you're not going to cry. There's not going to be a day that's not going to go by, you're not going to ask God why. There's not going to be a day that's not going to go by that you're not going to say, I just don't understand why he's here and why we got to go to a cemetery to see him. You know, you still gonna say that. You're gonna say that for a long time to come. But like I told her, I said, I'm gonna tell you what was told to me. I said, you don't understand it. I said, but later on you may. Mm-hmm. I said, God doesn't make mistakes. Mm-hmm. I said, you don't understand that right now. I said, but you will. I said, once you get into that groove and you really form that relationship with God, and God can sit down and you know his voice and he's talking to you, you That's hear right. him.
Yes.
And he talks to you when you fully give yourself over to him and you listen and you sit in worship and you listen.
Yes.
You'll speak.
Mm-hmm. He give you that peace.
He give you that peace. And when he steps in the room, you know it.
Yes.
Because the tears start to flow. And you feel him. You feel him. It's a feeling like no other. And I said, when you get that feeling and just sit and listen.
Yeah.
Hear everything that he has to say. I said, but I need you to try. I said, because it's no longer about you. I said, it's about Romello now. And I said, Romello needs you. I said, I could be gone here today or tomorrow. Nobody knows the minute or the hour but God. That's I said, so I need you. You always talking about standing 10 toes. Now it's time for you to stand 10 toes. I need you to put yourself to the side and I need you to push and press forward. Yeah. I don't need you to try to figure anything out right now. Now it's time to go. It's time to go. And it's time, gas, hit it. Let's go.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say the one, because we were fighting, arguing all the time. Now I can only say the woman that she is today.
God is good.
God is good. God is good. Because I could literally see us sitting in the church going through this again. Like I could see it. I said, I can't do this by myself, God. Like, I need you. I would literally go in my closet and get in that corner and I'd sit and I'd pray. And I'm talking for hours. It'd be late at night.
That's right.
11 to about 2 in the morning. I'm in there like I'm praying. And I'm in constant silence and worshiping. Like I'm praying. Yeah. I need you to move on her behalf. I need you to do this. I need you to do this because if something else goes wrong, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to hold this together. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it.
Come on, you talking to us because Tasha and I both have gone through it with the boys.
I don't know.
It's a delayed reaction with these siblings because my son, he's my baby is my only one, my one and only now, and he has other siblings through his father, and they do have a closeness, but my son was the one that I would bathe them together, bunk beds together, so it hit different when he lost his brother because that's the one that he.
It's like the yin and the yang. Like you're good, you're bad, who's your peacekeeper, who's your storm. Like I knew that between my two, right?
Yes.
So I knew.
Yeah,
it's tough.
It's tough.
It's different when you're a single parent. When you married and you got somebody to lean on and they got your back and y'all standing back to back and y'all got it, y'all doing it ain't like that. It's me and my back is up against the wall and I got to do what I got to do and my shoulders are pushed back and it's hell or high water and whatever you got, come on baby, because I'm time enough for you, let's go. And that's the way it is. And I foot on the accelerator and I'm gone.
That's right.
I don't have time. If I gotta cry, I gotta do it. And I gotta do it when I come back home. I can't get out here in the world. I can't let nobody see me break. I can't let nobody see me crack. When I get home, the doors closed. It's a whole different story.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I gotta keep it up. If these come this way, I'm weak.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Because who gonna pay the bills?
That's right. You're
Who's
right.
gonna keep the food on the table?
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
gonna take you to Banana Republic and buy that suit you want? Who?
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you know, who's gonna sit in Nordstrom's with you and
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, so I'm not standing back to back with nobody. It's me and God.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is how we gonna ride.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You know,
But
he's the one,
you know what,
he's the one on the passenger seat, you know, and let's ride. And that's
and you
all I
know
got. That's all I got.
And when we stand 10 toes down, because that's been my story for almost 4 years now, me and the Lord celibate. So I say at the end of the day, if I know I can ride through the hardest season of my life, me and God, like, okay, yeah, having the kingdom spouse, I prayed on it. God is in your hands. But at the end of the day, you realize all you really need is God. Because he is your husband. He is your provider. He is your healer. And he will show you at the end of the day when you're looking around that room and you hearing that echo. And like you said, ain't nobody to lean on but the Lord. Oh, he'll show you. That's all you need. That's all you need. And he got your back. Absolutely. Is that the baby in the background?
Yeah.
The baby said, I'm getting on the live too. You know, Jessica, you have given us so many great nuggets, and before we gone on the live, like you said, you know, you can very well see how these lives and sharing your stories do give hopes to the next mom. Like, we don't wish what we've gone through on nobody.
I don't know that I have any enemies, but I wouldn't wish this on my enemy.
No.
You know, like I like you just
nobody.
This
you wouldn't nobody.
This is a pain that God could have kept this one to himself. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, there's so many different kinds of pain, but this pain, you could have kind of kept this one in that Pandora's box, and you could have left it on the shelf in that corner over there. And you know, that cross could have given me any cross to bear, but that one, but again, he placed that in my lap because he knew I could handle it. I never thought I could handle it, but as time went on, and I saw how he was shaping and molding me, you know, because I'm that clay. And as he continued to mold me and shape me and show me certain things and the visions and me seeing certain things and how certain things were going to happen and how I had to back up and reevaluate some things in people, I was okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And we trust him because we know if you got me through the hardest season of my life, I know trusting you is a win-win situation, because whatever is going to happen is all working according to your plan and your purpose for my life. So I trust you.
You can't have trust without faith. You can't have faith without trust.
That's right.
That's right.
They go hand in hand. So if you're going to put them in the same pot and you want them to grow,
that's right.
You got to do it, right?
That's
and then
right.
if you want all that, you might as well sprinkle some of that grace and mercy on there.
That's right.
Right?
Right.
Go on and sprinkle some of that grace and mercy on there.
That's right.
Go on and let him extend that, you know, and let him do what he needs to do. Because other than that, how you gonna do it? Because each and every day, the mere fact that he wakes us up each and every day in our right minds, that's enough. Because it could have been the other way.
Oh, absolutely.
It could have been the other way. Because you could wake up in the morning and not know who your kids are.
That's right.
Listen.
That's right. Okay. Or don't wake up in the morning.
Don't wake up at all.
That's right. That's right.
Okay? And you'd be surprised how many people are prepared for that and who not.
That's right.
You know, so I think, you know, if I don't say a prayer, the mere fact that I said thank you, that's enough. Because after seeing what I've seen and after walking through what I've walked through,
yes,
like I said, it's nothing that you could say to me. You could probably sting me a little bit. You probably could even kind of cut my heart in a few slices, but it's really nothing that you can say to me. You could probably say something to me that maybe I never would say anything to you ever in life again. But it would never be anything to where it would buckle me.
Unbreakable. Unbreakable at this point. God has made it where it's unbreakable at this point. When you gone through the most unimaginable thing that you could ever imagine going through, it's like nothing else. It's nothing. It's nothing.
This is even in school, I was very athletic. I played volleyball, I played basketball, I ran track, I did all those things. And there was a young girl, her name is Stacy Hurwitz, a white girl. And her mother was sick with cancer and heart disease at the same time my mother was. And they both worked at the hospital together. And one got sick before the other. And then, her mother was sick before mine. And then my mother kind of helped take care of her mother. Then her mother passed. And then my mother got sick. And then, and then I had to deal with that. And then she was there for me the way that we were there for her and her mother. So, and seeing that, I remember us sitting on the side of the court one day. We were in volleyball practice and we were sitting on the side of the court, and she said, isn't it funny how we've both ended up dealing with the same thing? I said, yeah. I said, it is. And mind you, we weren't friends like that. Now our mothers, talked. We weren't friends like that because it was probably 10, 15 blacks in the school. I went to an all-white school. It was about 10, 15 blacks, and I was one of them.
Wow.
So, and the fact that I was athletic and I played sports, that kept me kind of out of the way. And, I really didn't have to deal with anybody unless I was on the court or even in class or anything like that. But her and I, we had a lot of classes together and everything. And she was like, it's really, really funny that we're going through the same thing. Now it's just me and my father, and now it's just you and your father.
Wow.
And she would be like, so now what? And I told her then, I said, I don't know what your relationship is with God, and I don't know how your family has raised you. I said, but I was born and raised in church. And I said, that's all I know. I said, until God shows me otherwise, that's where I got to stay. And as I got older, I said, I know without a shadow of a doubt, I haven't always said it right. I know that I haven't always done it right. And I'll even go a little bit further. I may not be the prettiest girl on the block. I may not be your flavor of tea. I may not be what you like. I may not be all dainty and good, the way you like it and the way you want your pie to be. But I tell you what, I'm probably the best thing that ever come across your plate.
That's right.
Yes.
And I mean that. And I don't say that cocky. I don't say that proud. I know what I know.
That's right.
Jessica.
That's
I
right.
know what I know.
That's right.
And I know because of the way that I was raised. I still remember everything that my mother told me. I still remember even some of the things that my father has shared with me about men, period.
Yes.
My mother too. I remember to this day. So, everything that has kept me together and has held me has been the things that my mother and father has, told me. And I still hold on near and dear to this day. And what I've been through, and God.
Yes.
He's the finishing touches of everything. Because again, if it wasn't for him, and then this healing process, grief is a funny component. I'll say it like that.
It's messy. It's
difficult. It's many things, right? But when it comes to the healing of it, You will only heal if you allow yourself to heal. And that's what I learned. You'll only heal if you allow yourself to heal. If you don't allow yourself to heal, you will continue to bleed on people that don't deserve to be bled on. And you will continue to hurt people because hurt people, right?
Right.
So if you want to get through this process, and if you want to heal, and if you want to get to a place to where you can be comfortable, still knowing that you have this trauma that you're dealing with, and it will always be there. It's not going anywhere. But also understand that anybody that's in your life, they need to be able to handle that with you.
Yes. They have to be
you're going to have your days and you're going to have your moments. And all they need to say is, you know, I know what today is. You know, I got a hug for you if you need it. Yeah, go on and bring that to me. I need it.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Right? You know, I need that. You know, it's going to get me through the rest of the day. I need that. You know? And that's all. Right? Yeah. That's all I need. You know, keep me in your prayers.
That's it.
But I need that. You know, because again, it's just me. I hug a pillow at night. So, you know, and me and God, when it's time.
Isn't that pillow just so peaceful? It don't have no drama.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
It's so fluffy.
Right.
It ain't argumentative. It's not narcissistic.
Listen, it don't have no PMSing going on. It don't have no attitude half the time. It don't halfway want to be bothered and all that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I fluff mine up. Right.
Yeah. So yeah. So
now this was a really, really good live.
And I'm so glad. I mean, I'm glad that I know you. I'm glad, you know, I know you from church and everything. And I'm just thankful that, you know, God brought us together at this time.
Yeah.
You know, and I will say to you that when I saw that you had lost your baby, like I knew what you were dealing with. And I believe at one time I told you, I said, I know what you're going through.
Yes.
I know what you're going through. If you need me, I'm here.
Yes.
You know, but I didn't push. You know, if you need me, I'm here. But I just want you to know that when I saw you having to go through what I went through, that broke my heart. And I just it was like me going through it all over again. Like I knew it. And then it's crazy because I've got another good girlfriend of mine, her son, during the pandemic, he was killed and she was right there with me. Like she served food and everything at the repast, everything, only for her oldest, for her to have to go through it. And she said to me, she said, Jess, she said, now I know. I said, Tiff, I never wanted you to have to endure what I went through. I never, because this is, and when her husband, Tony, hugged me, and when I felt the pain going through his body.
Yes.
Let me tell you something, when a man cry, and when he's hurt and he's wounded, when I tell you that thing, that Jenga game, pull the right plug. Right. And I'm done. I'm going down with you. I just, I can hold you and I got you. But to feel that pain, once I get you straight, I got to go off to myself because I got to holler. Because it's just, it's something about a man when he's wounded.
Yeah.
And to see the look in his eyes and then to see her, like, I never, because she was there. She was there. From the time I came home from the hospital that night, her and my baby cousin came to me. They were with me. There are two of the people that were there. And then, like I said, she was there at the repast. She feeding people, fixing plates. She was there. She made sure I ate. And then only for the country, the world to change. And then boom, it happened to her. I said, now, and again, My daughter was on her way home from work and she said, Mom, have you been on social media? I said, no. I said, what's the matter? She said, just go look at Donovan or Miss Tiffany's page. And when I saw it, I just had to call her.
Yeah.
We were all just together because her husband's an alpha. So we were all just together, and at like a cookout thing, a birthday party for her son's babies. We were all there on the piano, singing, playing, dancing. Like we were all just there. That all the kids were there. The only one that wasn't in that house was my son. All of her kids were there. All the friends were there. The only one was missing, and it was noticeable. Damien wasn't there. And only for a couple of months, maybe a year to go by, and boom, her oldest is gone.
Wow.
I said, now, you know, if again, you're right. I'm a dreamer and I'm a seer. And Pastor told me, she told me this maybe last year. She said, Jessica, be careful how you say it. She said, because whatever you say, it comes to pass, and it does. So now when I get ready to say something, if I do this, I'm stopping myself because I see it. And I know it's coming. But I've learned not to say anything until God tells me it's okay to say.
Yeah.
Right?
Same.
So I just, like now, I know that there's something is getting ready to happen. I can feel the shift.
I feel like that's on a world level. It's something huge in the world.
Something's getting ready to happen, because here in the last couple of nights, I wake up 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'll be like, okay, it's time to pray. So I'll pray. And if I'm tossing and turning, I'll pray. But then I'll be like, God, you know I'm tired, you know. But I'll still pray.
Mine is between 3 and 3:30.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes when it comes to those hours and stuff, I just really buckle down and I pray. But here lately, like I really feel the shift. Like I feel like something's coming. And I've seen a few folks that I know that's in this shift. And I've just been like really praying for them.
Yeah.
You know, like even because if you are in this state to where you feel like, you know, there's fear, or there's a lot of anxiety or whatever, something's getting ready to happen. You just can't put your finger on it.
Yeah.
Right.
But you know it's coming. You don't know when, but you know it's coming. And that's just like when I started having those dreams about my son. And then as time went on, but in that week, in my gut, I could feel something. I didn't know what it was.
Right.
I could feel it. And as the days went on, it got heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. That Friday came, I got nauseous. I got nauseous. And it got to where I tried to eat something and it came up. I couldn't eat it. And it got heavier and heavier and heavier. When that phone rang and my daughter said that to me, I knew. But I couldn't accept it.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't understand why he would allow that to happen to me. But as he said to me, why not you? So when he said that to me, why not you? I didn't say nothing else. So when I went and I started seeing my therapist, who I say is the bomb.com, she is. Mm-hmm. And she turned around and she said, Jess, why not you? And the way she said it was the same way that God said it to me when I was sitting in the floor in that dirt.
Right.
I said, really? She said, don't look at me like that with them big eyes.
God always give us that confirmation where like,
yeah.
Say that. And then I had to say, yeah, that was me. I said,
yeah. And I said, and I looked at her and I sat at the end of the seat. I said, but how you going to say that to me? I said, you get up every day. You get to see your kids. You get to see your son. You get to go to the mall with him. You get to go to the barbershop with him. You get to do birthday parties with them. You get to go on vacations with them. I don't have that luxury anymore. So what in the hell you mean? Why not me?
Right.
Yeah, that day we had a knockout drag out that day.
Yeah. Because you never process that. That's part of your healing.
Yeah.
You're going to be, the anger is one of the biggest.
Let me tell you something. There's a rage in that.
Yes.
Me tearing, I wish I had taken pictures of what my place would look like. I know I have a temper. Mm-hmm. I know that if you push me to that extent, I know what could happen. But mm-hmm. the rage that came up in me, it scared me. Mm-mm-mm. Because I've never seen that side of me.
Right.
Yeah. I know it's there. And it takes a lot to pull that out of me. Mm-hmm. But for that kind of rage to come out of me, that's like somebody spitting on me or calling me a female dog. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's that rage. Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so if you want to pierce my heart, that pierced my heart. There's a part of my heart that'll never come back. Like
yeah,
there, but it's not physically here. Mm-hmm. I can't touch it anymore. Mm-hmm. I see it and I dream about it and I have the memories, but I don't get to hold it anymore. You know, mm-hmm. So I understand when people say, when it comes to healing, I can understand why people run from it, because it feels good to sit in that uncertainty or, that sorrow. It feels good because you have something that you can still grasp and grab on, right? Mm-hmm. But when you start to heal.
That's why so many broken people in this world, because healing is tough. I tell anybody, it's not easy, but to me, it's so necessary.
Right.
I thank God that, I
it's necessary. You got to do it.
You have to do it. It's a life or death situation, especially when you're healing over the death of a child. But I feel like, and we all heal differently. Our journeys are going to be different.
Exactly.
Every parent gonna grieve and heal differently, but to what I have experienced with healing is you feel so much better when you put in the work to heal. You feel
that part when you do the work. When you do the work. Do you journal?
So I was going to tell you, Jessica, we need to get you with Mobile Moms, honey, because we journal, we meditate, we yoga.
I have.
We need to get you on board.
Well, I'll just go ahead and tell y'all. I just finished writing a book. So when I go ahead and send it on to the publisher, it'll be on Amazon, but I'll send you a picture, Tasha, so you can see it. Okay. And when I get it up and everything, I'll let everybody know how much it is or whatever. But the book it has prayers and quotes in it that I wrote. And it has, it has pages in it to where you can journal and where you can just write down your day-to-day, whatever. That's
Yeah.
book 1. I
Nice.
started
Yeah.
book 2, the tell all story. So I'm writing that now, book 2. One
Yeah.
is finished. I gotta get it on. I just finished the cover to where the picture for the book was given. It gave me more gray hair. That's why my hair is red, y'all. It gave me more gray hair than a little bit because I just couldn't get the picture centered right on the book to where I wanted it to be. Just, of course, it had to be perfect, but I finally got it. Now I need to just upload everything, but I'm waiting for God to tell me when exactly to hit that button.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jessica, we gotta definitely talk offline because there's some things that I've been working on as well. Now, are you on Facebook?
Yes.
So I need to get you in our private group.
Okay.
You know, I run the nonprofit Mobile Moms for mothers, and we have events. We just had a brunch, so we're working on a couple of things. We want to get you in the private group because you definitely bring value, and we would love to have you join the support group. We do journaling workshops, we do meditation workshops. So we definitely want to get you on board with the other moms. And your friend that you mentioned that lost her son as well, give Tasha her information and we'll get her connected to the group as well. It's about 65 moms in the group.
Okay.
And, you know, we would love to have you on board. And this has been a really, really informative, great live. We've gone longer than what we normally have, but, you know, this is so necessary. These conversations are so necessary to have the different perspectives because we have the same loss as the child, but our journeys are so different. And I feel like each story just brings so much value, you know, to the platform and what Tasha and I are doing here. So I definitely want to get connected with you and definitely get you connected with the group as well.
Tasha and I follow each other.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna send you a Facebook request because once I add you to a friend, then I'll add you into the private group.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and wrap up. This is Pretty in Peace, Not in Pieces. This has been such a great episode. Thank you so much, Jessica, for sharing your
and happy belated birthday since we share the same birthday.
Yes! Look, when you say you blessed, like we got too many sevens in our birthdays not to be blessed, right? So you know, God is good, and may God continue to bless you on your journey. And we definitely will get connected. And Tasha, you know, I love you.
Yes,
I thank God for you, and you know this journey that we have embarked on. You know, it's this is the beginning of something great.
That's what I told somebody. I said this isn't the last. I said this is just the beginning, and I said and it's going to go somewhere else.
Come on.
Yeah, it's going to go somewhere else. You watch what I tell you. It's going to go somewhere else.
And Jessica, I mean, what can I say? I told I said I already knew this was going to happen tonight. And I said, because God already done showed me. But let me tell you something, Evangelist.
Don't you? Now, you already know I ain't going to never tell God no, but don't you put that one on.
I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now, Evangelist.
Okay.
I told you had a story to tell, your testimony.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, but like you said, it's only God because it's not the strength of our own. You know, if it was just up to us, we get out that bed and fall flat on our face. But it's nothing but God. It's our love for Him. It's the love He has for us.
Yes,
and you know, like you said, that's been instilled in us since we was little kids in church. In the house of God and praising and worshiping with our church families and stuff like that. I mean, the word is just down in the belly, and I'm telling you, it showed up in you tonight. You have a powerful story. I'm so proud of all of the accomplishments you've done losing them. I'm serious. This is just, you know, and this is what I want other mothers to hear, because some of them is just so lost, Jessica, don't know which way to turn. But if they hear, when they hear you come, you so strong, and you just talking about your faith in God and where God done brought you from, that's gonna save some people.
That's right.
And that's what this is all about.
I received that.
I thank God for you. I hope we can get together soon on some other, you know, different, you know, like Tahita said, other events and stuff like that. Start, you know, fellowshipping together as mothers, as lost children, because don't nobody understand us like we understand each other.
That's true.
That's right.
That's true. That's very true.
So it's just, you know, it's much needed, and it's what God will want us to do.
That's right.
And I love you. I love you too. I love you, Tahita.
Hold that evangelist thing. You hold that. You hold that. You hold that.
Jessica already knows. Look, she's like, God, that's you again.
Listen, but hold that. And don't be going back to Pastor talking. You hold that, okay? Hold that. Because, you know, I stand up and y'all not going to talk to me? Y'all gonna let me? Okay, well, I'm gonna go over here and talk to these people over here. They gonna talk to me. Y'all not gonna talk to me?
That's right.
That's right. You hold that. You put that back in the box. Put that back in the box.
I'm a hold it for safekeeping.
Hold that for safekeeping. Hold that for safekeeping.
Yeah. I love it. But again, thank you so much, Jessica.
Thank you. And when I see your invite come across, I'll accept it.
Absolutely.
And whenever y'all whenever something's going on or getting together, just let me know.
All right, we got some things that we're working on, and the private group is the exclusive group that gets all the tea before anything else is you know, embarked out in the open. So I look forward to meeting you in person. We got some things that we're working on, and then I have some things personally that we'll do a sidebar conversation as well. So we're wrapping it up.
All right.
Not in Pieces, a healing experience. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Tasha. Couldn't do this without you.
Thank you, ladies.
Allow God to continue to order our steps. And until next week, we are signing off. All right, guys. Everybody have a good night. Happy birthday, Jessica.
Yes, girl.
Yes, happy birthday, Jessica.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.